In celebration of Juneteenth weekend, join us for the 4th Annual Black Ink Book Festival and Black Ink Short Film premiere in New Orleans, Louisiana on Saturday, June 20th, 2026 at City Park's Pavilion of the Two Sisters from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Meet new authors in all genres, enjoy speakers, live readings in the Botanical Gardens, and win prizes. Registration is now open. Author exhibit booths and sponsorship opportunities are available. To learn more, visit www.blackwritersworkspace.com/BLK Ink Book Festival. We look forward to seeing you there.
Hi, everybody. It's Michelle Jackson, and I am here on a Saturday morning with the winners of the Chapter 1 Writing Competition. For those of you who may not know what the Chapter 1 Writing Competition is, it is a competition created by the Black Writers Workspace that is here to recognize and honor our writers of African descent. It gives us an opportunity to share our stories with a group of judges, beta readers, and editors who will go in, they review the information, they score it, and they provide feedback on how to strengthen the work. And so the writers that work with us, those who agree to submit their work, they have to provide 10 pages of a nonfiction or fiction piece of work, a piece of art, as well if they're doing poetry, up to 5 to 7 poems. And those poems are then reviewed, and they are ranked, and they are scored, and they are given feedback. And then we have our winners. So I am here today to do something that I love to do, which is to talk to our authors. And the goal of these sessions is, first of all, this is part of their prize. Okay. They won cash prizes, they've won trophies and discounts, and then they win this interview. And you're probably saying, why do I want to, why interview new writers? Well, we're carrying the torch of so many writers out there. When we think about the great works, we think about Maya Angelou and Alice Walker and Sonia Sanchez and all these amazing people, Richard Wright and Langston Hughes and all these amazing Black writers that came before us. But they laid the foundation for us to get out there and to continue to write and continue to control the narrative and share our work with the world. So whether you are published or unpublished, or you are unpublished, but you're leaning towards publishing, we want to inspire you to continue to put your work out there. And so today we have our first of 2 sessions. Our first session is with our first place winner for the nonfiction category, Dorothy Lennon, and she is here from Georgia to talk to us about her winning submission, Pretty Face Boys. And then we're going to come back at around 11:15, and we're going to have a whole group of our second and third place writers from different categories. And the 3 categories were fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. So let's bring Dorothy on the screen so you can get to know her and learn about her writing process. How you doing, Dorothy? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being with us. It is, first of all, congratulations. It's a big deal to win first place in a competition, the first time you submitted, to have the judges applaud your work. And not only that, but to recognize the uniqueness of your work. When we're looking at judging, and we have judges that, and I want to give them a shout out right quick. Our judges are so committed. They're very diverse. They're not just, recognizing, they're not just people who like certain 1 or 2 genres. They're very diverse. They come from across the country, and they spend the whole summer reviewing, 50, 60 submissions. So this isn't something that we do in fun. Some of these competitions, you get in, you submit your stuff, and all you get is a, did you win or did you lose? And that's it. But with us, we want to make sure that we are pouring and investing in the work by giving you some feedback and helping you to strengthen your work. So you topped everybody in the nonfiction category. So we want to hear from you. Tell us about yourself, and why did you decide to submit to the Chapter 1 writing competition?
I've actually, I have a theater background. So I studied theater, and as an actor, I realized that I enjoyed the writing, like what the playwright was thinking when they were developing character and things like that. And I was like, I don't think I want to act. I think I want to be behind the scenes. And then It kind of like developed into me wanting to write nonfiction. And that became, I started to use theater to think about nonfiction, because it was one of those things where it's like, I'm afraid to write about my life. But if I think about everyone in it as characters and build these things as scenes, it was easier for me. So that is kind of been my thing now, just writing my truths as if it was a play.
I love that. I love that. First, to be a nonfiction writer, you have to really get deep within yourself. All types of writers, but definitely as a nonfiction writer, you're writing your truth to a certain degree. You're writing your truth. And so you have to dig deep within yourself in order to get the confidence to share something, even if you're using characters that people may not know is you or not you. But talk to us about getting that confidence to write nonfiction.
It was a very scary process, because in the moment of writing, you're giving yourself therapy, but you also have, so some of the lies that we kind of tell ourselves, how sometimes we're like, I'm fine, and we know we're not. You also have to let those things go to be completely truthful in what you were feeling in the moment that this thing that you're writing about has happened. And that took a lot of time. That also took conversations. Like, before I started this process, one of my essays is about my brother. And I had to interview him first, let him know that eventually, this could be out there. Like, I don't know when, because I'm always afraid to submit things, but this could be out there. And he had to agree to, to those terms of what I was writing about. And then what I do also, I write from a place of grace. So that means that I'm intentionally making sure that I have grace for the people that are in my story, so that the reader does not have the space to judge them harshly in the process. And that's because everyone has a background story as to why they are the way they are. And Pearl Clay actually did my last master's. She spoke at our graduation, and I had the opportunity to ask her, like, how did you write these characters in Flying West? Like, how they are. And she said, because ultimately everyone is just doing their best. They're doing the best they can right now. And so I took that with me in nonfiction and was like, I could write it the way I was angry in this moment or that moment, or I could break down what the other people in the story were going through, who they are, what their background is, because ultimately we were all just doing our best. And so that is one of the things that I try to keep in my mind as it feels like it's hard to write it or even put it out there. That's the scary part. Writing it is almost like the diary. Putting it out there is the scary part. So I try to remember those things, that ultimately we're all trying to just do our best.
So everybody out there, if you're listening, you can drop your questions. This is a great time to ask a new writer about her process. This is a great time to find out about her submission, what's happening next with her. So be sure to drop that information. So you're from Georgia. Well, you live in Georgia.
Yes.
You are an essayist.
North Carolina.
You're from North Carolina, correct?
North
Okay.
Carolina. Yeah.
And this is a group of essays. Talk to us about Pretty Faced Boys. I mean, drop us into the story. And because this is nonfiction, tell us what you wanted us to know, to learn, and to grow from in your work.
So Pretty Faced Boys is the first essay in a book of essays that I'm writing called The Closets of Others. And it is basically about my coming out story. And what I do in each essay is, because it's called The Closet of Others, is that I bring someone else out of the closet, and not necessarily through of their sexuality, but something else possibly. So like one essay, talks about me and my dad, and what's coming out of the closet for him is alcoholism. So those type of things. So Pretty Face Boys is the very first one, and it is actually me coming out to myself. I go through this string of beautiful boyfriends that are so pretty, not necessarily handsome, and me trying really hard to not necessarily love them, because I did care for them in a way, but me trying to make it work or make it feel real to me in moments that it didn't. And by the time I get to college, I realize that it is not the men, it is me, and it is because I love women. And so I just go through this narrative of childhood, high school boyfriend, college, and then this moment. And then you feel like I also discussed this like grief that I have of who I thought I was, and now having this revelation, because this isn't, most people are like, oh, I knew at 7, I knew at 12, I had no idea. So it was me having to grieve this person that I thought I was and finding out who I am. And for me, it felt like such a young age to have to really figure out what I wanted at 19 and 20. In the times when most people are just trying to figure out self altogether. I'm trying to figure out self and how I show up in the world with who I love.
And so, was this your way of giving those who may be, I hate to say hiding, but those who have not accepted their own sexuality or anything that you want to come out with? Because coming out is more than just about sexuality. You can come out as being many things in life, because people have an idea, a perception of us. And most of us get it wrong when we're trying to come up with these assumptions about us. We do this to our kids. We do it to everybody, But did you want to help people to learn how to come out, or more how to just live their authentic self, or a combination of those two?
Not necessarily to come out, but how to live authentically, and how to recognize the signs that you may be different. When you are in a very straight world, my favorite movie is, a straight rom-com. My favorite rappers, my favorite singers, my entire household. Like, when there is no representation of that, it really went over my head. I really had no idea. In my mind, something is wrong with me, to where these men who are gorgeous are also extremely irritating to my soul. Like, in my mind, I could not pinpoint that this could be the reason why. Like, this is a really good guy. This is why isn't this working for me, type of thing. And so I think I want people to also recognize that your world could be your best friends, everyone could be so straight that you don't really see the signs, and know how to be there for yourself and be truthful for yourself before anyone else is involved, before you have to come out to anyone else. What does that feel like for you?
Well, one of the judges said that that your work felt like they were sitting down, that you were sitting down and telling the story, your personal story about exploring and finding your own sexuality. It felt like talking to a friend. That's how your writing felt to them. I love that. I love that. And it sounds to me like what you were doing was you learned how to accept who you are as an individual. And then you took this brave move of writing it. Talk to us a little bit about that process. How did it feel to put this on paper? Did you worry about who was going to see it, what they were going to say? Because for writing is deep. It's a really deep, inspiring process, but you have to get so connected with yourself to put the words on the paper, because you know that once those words are down and it's out into the world, everybody learned something about you that they did not know. And everyone begins to judge not just the writing, but your act of telling the story.
Right.
So when you sat down, what was that like the first time when you said, I'm going to put this pen to paper and then I'm going to be bold enough to put it in a competition. Talk to us a little bit more about that. And I've got a question that came up. I'm going to put it
Okay.
on the screen for us. Mhm.
Well, one, writing as if I was talking to a friend is very intentional. That is on purpose in every essay. The reason why is because African American English vernacular is very important to me. I write it on purpose. I love playwrights and other writers who do so. My favorites are like Kiese Layman, Jesmyn Ward. I love their style. They inspire me to be that type of, honest with myself. But also, again, writing it is the easy part only because, and I have to credit the theater background. When you are playing a character, you do a character analysis. And in order to even play that character, you personally, Dorothy cannot judge the character that she's playing. Otherwise, they will not evolve into who they're supposed to be on stage, right? So you really embody what they've gone through, what their backstory might have been, what could have happened to them to make them this extremely flawed or hated person in this story, right? I use that type of background to easily write the truth. It's just the truth. It is what it is. It's almost like my diary, but then I let someone read it. That is still that is still always the scariest part. This one was easier for me because one, I talked to the exes. So they are aware that they are in this, some like not necessarily all named, but they do know that they've been brought up, right? So that was easy. They didn't mind. The girl that I talk about, Tip, that's in the piece, she read it. So they don't mind. And most of it was about me. I don't mind being vulnerable in that space because I've had to do it on stage or because I've had to break down and embody a character on stage. So moving that theater background into nonfiction writing is really the easy part for me. I don't really know how to explain that any other way. But I think it's going to get scarier the more I submit when other people come into play. Like when I do bring my father into this, when I do bring my brothers or my mother into this, that I'm gonna have to speak my own truth, but hope that they understand it too, that they know that I wrote them with grace and not to be judged harshly.
It's such a hard decision when we're writing these books, especially if you know characters, whether it's fiction or nonfiction,
Yeah.
are going to easily be identified as someone in your life. I had that situation that happened with my last chapter book that I wrote, and From Darkness to Night. The character wasn't me, but the environment was the environment I grew up in. And there was a character that was very symbolic. It's kind of symbolic of my brother. And I had to go to him and say, look, I created this character. And I know everybody's going to think it's you. And part of it is, and a lot of it isn't. But are you okay with it? Is it okay? And so he was fine with it. But these are some of the hard things that we have to come across because we're
Yeah.
trying to tell our truth and be authentic. And sometimes our authenticity requires us to expose things that family, especially the Black family, when it comes to, what you don't talk about outside the house,
Right.
that kind of thing,
Right.
it becomes a challenge. So I applaud you for everything that you're doing with your work, and that you're really going into a tough topic. It's something that a lot of families are struggling with. And I'm happy to hear that you're like, I'm approaching this with all honesty and putting it out there. So that's great. We have Catalina, who is also one of our winners. She had a question for you. She said, congratulations, Dorothy. How and when did you know you needed to share your story?
I needed to, because how blindsided I was. When you grow up, I wrote this piece called 1613 McPherson Street is where I grew up. And I talk about what was around in that type of neighborhood, and there wasn't really anyone thriving but surviving constantly. So in those moments when you don't have time to figure out who you are and why, I feel like, and today, yes, there is way more representation. It is on television. People can stream things and watch whatever they want now, and young people can figure this out a little easier. But I always think of, there is someone in a neighborhood who is literally waking up to just survive the day, who does not have time to sit within themselves and reflect on who they are. And I was like, if it was me, no matter how much evolved we are with technology, it is somewhere else too. And someone else probably needs that revelation for themselves. Is when I knew that this was important enough to write, that this doesn't just belong in my journal or my diary. Yeah, that's why.
And I'm glad that you decided to do that. Thank you for that question. Looking forward, we're going to be interviewing her as well. She's the first place winner of the fiction competition. So I love authors supporting authors. So that's what we're doing here. So it's so good that you were able to put so much of yourself into this, and to submit this piece and win. And tell me, what did it feel like to know that you won first place in this category?
I was really shocked.
Mhm.
I had missed, I was like, I set my alarm, but I didn't think I was going to be able to watch the live. And I was like, oh, I missed it. So the next day I was like, well, I'll go on Instagram and I'll see, and I'll congratulate the winners. That was my mind. I was like, I'll congratulate all of the winners. And so I go on and something flashed, and I was like, oh, maybe they just posted everyone who submitted. I didn't even see the first place. Like, in my mind, I just saw all the names. I was like, oh, these are all the people that submitted. And I was like, wait a minute. So I had to pause it. You're right. I was really shocked, because I've done I have a friend that helps with the publication. So I've done things like that. Like, I've posted something to a small publication, and just, trying to get my feet wet of, things like that. But I was just really shocked that one of the things that I'm writing that I want to be in a book, I was like, okay, no more being scared that I submitted and this happened. I was in shock. Like, I was on a high for a while. I was like, I just
That is
couldn't believe it.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. And I know you talk about the theater being kind of the helping you to create your style. Talk to us about some of your favorite authors. I mean, is there a favorite nonfiction or fiction, and what's your favorite genre to write in?
My favorite genre is nonfiction.
Okay.
Like, I love to watch plays, and I love when they are inspired by actual true stories, but deep down it's always nonfiction for me. I have books everywhere all through this house, and
Mhm.
majority, like 95% of them are nonfiction. And I mentioned before, Kiese Layman is
Mhm.
one of my very top. And the reason being is his language. The way he speaks is I actually was able to tell him this story once. He came to talk to our class at UGA. And it was a while ago that he had written Long Division, and I loved the language in the book. And
Mhm.
I was writing a play that was really horrible. And I was living in New York, and I got into this writing group that they said, well, we need to see your work first before, and they accepted me. And they was like, let's do a reading. Well, when I got there, I was the only woman, and I was the only Black person. And so when they started to read this play, they spent 30 minutes telling me that if this Black boy is educated and goes to college, that he should not be talking this way.
Mm.
And so I'm
Mm.
like, when I look back at it, I was like, this play
Mhm.
was horrible. It had structural issues. It was horrible. And this is the thing you guys thought to
Mhm.
talk about for 30 minutes or so. and I was young. It shook me so much that I stopped writing for like a
Mhm.
year or two until I read Long Division. And so I really, I give that credit to like Kiese Layman's books to that helped me get back into it and be authentic to myself and not write these big beautiful words just because I went to college. I really wanted to sound like I'm talking to my friends. And so he is one, and he's from Mississippi, and Jasmine Ward is too.
Mhm.
She is another. Her book Men We Reaped I have read like 3 times. Um, and it's because it's about real life. I
Mhm.
mean, she's talking about going to school and being a writer, but also drinking and smoking with her friends, and it's something about not worried about what white folks think when we are being our authentic selves while also being educated and very intelligent people that kind of gravitate me towards Kiese and Jasmine.
Isn't it funny that we have to um, walk this fine line when it comes to everything that we do? Are you black? Are you black enough? Are
Mhm.
you feminine? Are you feminine enough? Are you? I mean, it's. I'm getting my doctorate. I'm getting my PhD in public policy, and I teach at Tulane. And I know Jasmine at Ward actually. I don't know if she still teaches there, but at one point she was.
Yeah.
And I'm reading. I'm doing a study on just how women are being treated in the lending industry. You know, this double jeopardy. There's
Mhm.
always this double everything when it comes to being black. You've got to, if you're intelligent and you're writing, do black people actually speak intelligently?
Right.
Are you Can someone grow up? And this was something I had with my book, From Darkness to Night, was that my character had a rough life. She grew up in the projects like me, but she was a very smart girl. And I remember being told, "You sound like a white girl." I would
Mhm.
hear that. And I'm going, "Well, I don't know what that means. I'm from Alabama." So it's like I say, "Y'all, I'm good." I'm from Alabama, but I don't sound like a lot of people from Alabama. Why do we have to be in this box
Yeah.
all the time? It's like I can't be from Alabama, grew up in the project, and still know how to speak well. Can my
Right.
characters be diverse? Can my characters speak as much, urban and be smart? So what if you have a dialect? That
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're not smart. And it's just all these different things that as writers we have to, as people, we have to consider. But as writers, you have to take into consideration because there are a lot of editors out there who will say, this isn't realistic. If
Mhm.
this character is black, why are they using these big words? That's not how black people talk, or this isn't how Southern people talk. And it's like, really? So
Yeah.
all of us are one way. We can only see the world, examine the world, express ourselves in one way. It is so limiting. It is
It
so limiting.
is. But it's only limiting to, I feel like it's limiting to certain people that like their box is small.
Mhm.
I'll tell you this. I became obsessed with words at about a 10 or 11 years old. I have older brothers. I was the only girl. They're 5 and 6 years older than I am. And I'll never forget, I think it was Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt and my brother was gone and I'm not supposed to be listening to his music, but I'm in his room and I play Reasonable Doubt, and it was something else. It might have been Tupac, but I remember this one. And it was something Jay-Z said, and I didn't know what it meant. So I'm aging myself, but I paused the tape and I go get a dictionary. And
Mhm.
so now I am sitting there with a dictionary, pressing play, pausing, go look up that word. And it made me obsessed with words. And it's
Mhm.
like, you guys can see him as a rapper, but I am listening to the words that are coming out of his mouth, and how he's using them was genius to me at 10.
Mhm.
And so that kind of also started, I want to write. At first, I thought I wanted to be a rapper, but I was like, no, that's not it.
Mhm.
But those things, and it's like we can decide how we kiese. He talks about how they use certain words, and he makes words that are like almost SAT words sound like slang. I
Mhm.
absolutely love that because it's taking us outside of this box of, you can't sound like this, if you're educated.
Mhm.
So I can use the educated words and sound like this. And that kind of, it's almost radical. It's a protest to being outside of, getting outside of that box that other people are trying to put us in.
Absolutely. And I'm going to date myself because, yes, I was the same one. Now, for me, it was LL Cool J. And I would dissect every lyric of every word on with my little tape recorder, and I would write it down. And I love words too. And I love rap. And I'm
Mhm.
51. So it's very interesting when people, I think the younger generation, they look at us like we grew up with hip hop. Like we are hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
We started with
I've
that.
been listening to hip hop my whole life, but hip hop to me is poetry. It is so poetic. It is so beautiful. It is storytelling in just the best way. But it's just one of the many forms of creativity that we have in expressing ourselves. And whether it's gangster rap or whatever it is, it's still telling a story. We're controlling the narrative. And to me, that's what all this book ban is about, is that once we get to a point where we can tell our own stories,
Yeah.
whoever created self-publishing, thank you, because there's nobody now to say, as much as there are those who go, oh, you self-publish your book, you couldn't get a publishing deal. No, self-publishing also gives me the freedom to
Mhm.
write my experience the way I want to write it, and to not be limited, to not be told that that's not real, that
Yeah.
doesn't happen in the Black community. People who have never lived in a Black community tell you
We'll tell you that
that
it is
something
very weird.
didn't happen or can't happen in the Black community. And you're going, are you serious right now?
Right.
Yeah. That character, you can have a girl who grows up in a poor community, have so well read, so intelligent. I was that girl to many ways. I sat on the porch in the projects and I read book after book after book. And I'm like you, I loved words. My favorite word was unique when I was in the third grade. When I saw that word, it was, girl, that was over. That was done. And to this day, I still find words that I just literally love. And so
Mhm.
I love words. I love books. I love writing.
Yeah.
And I've been so impacted by the written word throughout my life. I can tell you at every phase of my life, there was a nonfiction book that saved me. The Boy
Mhm.
Who Broke My Heart in College, Iyanla Vanzant in the Meantime. After college, when my spirituality was growing, TD Jakes, everything he wrote.
Yeah.
Joyce Meyer, what is Battlefield of the Mind. I remember these things. They took me to the next level of my life. So what you're doing in writing nonfiction, for me, is a game changer, because I think that you guys are the bravest, because you're trying to inspire people to live better, to do better, and to be their authentic selves. And so when you win a category like this, it says to me that you are not only a great writer, but you have a big future ahead of you, because what you're doing is therapy. And it's not therapy one time. We go to therapy, you sit in there for 50 minutes, and then nobody hears, and nobody but you grow from it. Oh, and your family, because hopefully you get your life right. But when you write a book and you're trying to help people mold and shape their world, that book sits on shelves and impacts thousands of people. Like when I say in the meantime, people are probably like, oh, I read that book 20 years ago. And I
Mhm.
remember the impact that had on me as I got over a bad relationship. I
Yeah.
remember all those things. So congratulations again on everything
Thank
that you're
you.
doing. Tell us what's happening next in your life. Now, for those people out there, this competition is for self-published, unpublished, or writers of African descent. So you have not published yet. You
No.
won with an unpublished submission, which is so awesome. But tell us, are you looking to publish, and what's next for you?
I am. I am looking to finish the essays, or as much as I can to put into a proposal. I have quite a bit, so I'm in the editing process. I sometimes I leave it completely alone because I like exactly how it sounds. But right now, I am going through all of the essays that I've written so far, and I'm doing an edit to make sure. And I'm doing my my why and all of that to be a part of the proposal. So that's where I am right now.
Well, we don't want you overthinking this. We want you to publish. We want you to publish. Do everything right. You get you a good editor, get you a beautiful, design a beautiful book cover, but go for it. Put your work out there so the world can learn from it and grow from it and know that what you're doing right now is extremely important. So congratulations on everything. If you have any words of wisdom for our writers out there, please drop those words now so that everyone can know it. And if everyone out there, if you have any questions, this is a good opportunity to drop your questions as well. But after this, we're going to be going into another conversation with our second and third place winners. So stay with us this morning. We're going to keep this line open, and then we're going to go into our next group of interviews in about 10 minutes. So, but for now, Dorothy, give our writers a few words of encouragement, what you've learned just in this competition, and how you're going to move forward in doing the things that you want to do with your writing.
I'm going to speak from a nonfiction, because the program that I was in, the writing program, was also in the journalism department. So they teach you to tell people that you are writing about them. Do not ask. But I try to take it a step further to make people feel comfortable about the fact that you are writing about them. And keep that in mind when you tell your story, but also remember that this is about you. So whatever fear or worry that you have about what happens when this gets out here, write it truthfully, but beautifully enough to where you won't have to where those hard conversations will be just that versus, I can't believe you said this thing. Like, if you write it beautifully enough to where they can understand as well, I think you'll be fine. So just write.
Just write. Yes. And Dorothy, you keep writing. I want to see the stage play, the book, the movie. I'm ready for it all. I am so there. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
I really am grateful that you were selected. I hope you continue to be a part of the Black Writers Workspace, our community. Yes. Join us. We have our next book fair coming up here in New Orleans, is where I am, in June. And so hopefully you'll have that book out, or a book of essays, and you can come out and be a part of it. It's so much about you and I that's similar. I wish we had a little bit more time to kind of get into it, but you said some things, including that cassette tape. So, but yeah, there's a lot there. And I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to meet with you. So thank you for being with us. We're going to take you off the screen, but for those of you out there, you're going to stick with us. We're going to have another group come on in about 7 minutes. So if you want to take a little time and go and get you something to drink, we're going to be meeting with our second and third place winners of the Chapter 1 writing competition. And again, Dorothy is our first place winner in the nonfiction category. This is part of her prize, is to get a one-on-one interview with me so that people will get to know you. You can start building your fan base early. That's what we're trying to do here, is to help you build your fan base early. Is there anywhere, Dorothy, because I have this question all the time, that people can read your work? Everyone is asking me to see it. And I'm like, well, because it's a competition, I don't put people's information out there. But are you writing on any of the platforms?
I am not, but one of the writers did share one in our email last night that I'm thinking about putting my stuff out there. But as of right now, there is an essay, not about this particular, this group of essays, but there's an essay about my grandfather on Porch Magazine that is out there. I think I have a couple with them. And then I used to write on Medium. I haven't in a while, so that stuff is pretty old, but if you wanted to see it, it's out there. But as of right now, with the new stuff like Pretty Face Boys, those things, it's not out there yet. But this was the first brave step, so I will eventually start putting things out.
Well, I'm going to challenge you and everyone that's on the screen. If you want me to post your book or your submission, you can always give me the authorization to do so, and I will add it to our page. For those of you, for our website, for those of you who want to see what's happening and who's won in the past, this is our 5th year with this competition. So that's a big deal. So we do encourage everyone to go to blackwritersworkspace.com. You can find information about the Chapter 1 writing competition. The next one will start up. We basically take applications from about, I want to say maybe January to March. I'm sorry, March to May. And then from that period on, we start judging through the summer, and then we announce our winners sometime in August or September. So it's a process, and you stuck with it. And so everything worked out in your favor. So congratulations again, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
So everybody, again, we are here today and tomorrow to talk to the winners of the Chapter 1 writing competition. I'm Michelle Jackson. I'm the founder of the Black Writers Workspace. I'm the host for the Pen Posse podcast. I'm also the founder of directtoauthor.com, which is our book platform, our book store for our independent authors. So don't hesitate to go out there and check out some of these amazing books by our independent authors. It is just so important that you support this work. We know there are great authors out there, whether they're independent, traditionally published, it doesn't matter. We respect everybody as a writer, but we need our space also to be able to showcase works that are designed by our independent authors who are telling and controlling the narrative in a different way. And that's really showing the beauty of our experiences as diverse writers. And so we're open for everyone to upload your book and become an exclusive member of the direct to author with the from the direct doctor program. It's only $19 a year, and not only will you have your book profile in our exclusive bookstore, but you will get discounts to our book fair, our master classes, and a host of other things for doing that. So once again, directtoauthor.com. That is a platform I created that is to help promote our independent authors. You can also find great books and buy directly from the author. And why is that important? It's important because we are independent authors, and we have to build a fan base. And many of us are selling our books on Facebook, we're selling on Lulu, we're selling them on our own websites, but we want you to buy the book in a way that's going to be the most beneficial for us. So we have uploaded how we want you to purchase our book. So that's why it's direct to author. You are buying that book, and the funds are going to be going directly to us in whatever fashion we choose to sell our books on. And that's a big deal. And if you're not a self-published author, you may not understand, but it is important that we can control how we're selling our books and the money and things that we make from it. So support us directly by going to directtoauthor.com. Now we are gearing up for our next group. These are our second and third place winners. It's going to be a group interview, and we're going to be talking to them and learning about their submissions. And hopefully somebody's going to be brave enough to read an excerpt of their submission, but we're going to be putting those up for those who are comfortable with us to share their submissions for the Chapter 1 writing competition. But for now, let's get them on the screen so we can go into our second part of our interviews. And then tomorrow night at 5 p.m., we're going to be meeting with our first place winners for the poetry competition as well as the fiction competition. And then we're going to do a group interview with our second and third place winners. And that's going to wrap up you getting to know the winners of the Chapter 1 writing competition. But for now, let's bring them on the screen. Hello.
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 How are you?
Good.
Hello.
Hello. We have a few more that are going to come on with us today. But we have these two beautiful faces early this morning. How you doing, ladies?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm doing wonderful.
Good. We're going to get to know you and get to know a little bit more about your submissions. I'm going to do a little intro to make sure everyone knows what you want and why you want it. And then we're going to be taking questions. So if you are out there and you have any questions for our writers, you can drop those questions on YouTube or Facebook. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need to get those numbers up. So hit like and subscribe. You have no idea how much that helps us. So, again, I'm Michelle Jackson. I'm the founder of the Black Writers Workspace, which is a community of over 17,000 writers and readers on Facebook. We have master classes, book fairs. We do a host of different things because our goal is to support our writers of color. I am also the founder of directtoauthor.com, which is our exclusive bookstore, our exclusive book marketplace. And so you can go out and you can find books by our independent authors. I'm also the creator of Chapter One Writing Competition. So I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm a three times published author, about to publish my fourth book, which is romance. I'm really excited. But I'm more excited right now to get to know the two of you and those who are going to be on the screen shortly to talk about their work. We just had Dorothy. Did you guys see her interview? Dorothy Lennon, did you see her interview? Good,
Yes.
good, good. It was just really
Yes, it was
amazing to
fabulous.
get to know her.
Loved it.
Yes. So, Valerie, VK Omari is your pen name, and you are one of our winners in the
Yeah.
nonfiction category as well. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live in Georgia. I have 4 children. I'm currently in school to receive my Master's of Fine Arts at Vermont College. I got in on merit, which means I didn't have a degree. I got in solely on my work, and at that moment in time in my life, I was like, "Okay, I am a writer. I do belong." So I'm very excited about that. I'm a spoken word artist as well, and I am a poet. So I have a lot of
Excellent.
things going on right now.
So, but you're a poet, but you placed in the nonfiction category. Interesting. So, what made you decide
Yes.
to write nonfiction and submit it versus poetry?
Well, poetry, I feel, comes natural to me,
Mhm.
and nonfiction, I'm still kind of with the imposter syndrome of sharing my story. I share it in poetry openly and freely, have no hesitation, but it's a different ball game writing nonfiction. And I started out writing big words, trying to hide who I was. And in school, I learned simple is best. And then I'm like, but I have to be vulnerable. So I took the step to submit to Hurston Wright Foundation, and I won first place for the crossover awards. Thank you, Khadijah Ali Coleman, the former executive director, and Ron Nixon was the judge. That gave me the push I needed to say, you need to start getting your story out there because you're not just the only one who has gone or is going through it. They need to hear that you survived, but not only survived, that I am thriving and they can too. And when I was going through it, I went to the library and I couldn't find any books that had significant information into what someone was going through being molested. And I kept looking for things to compare. Am I being molested too? I couldn't find them. Spirit said, you have to put it out there. You have to be very vulnerable and open to share exactly what you went through so that you can help the other people that may be wondering the same thing. Am I being molested? Because molested is a derogatory word. You think it's going to come with physical pain, not just emotional pain. Mine was different. I was groomed. It wasn't hurting. And that is what I share in my story in nonfiction. I can't do that yet, I'm going to say, in poetry, the way I'm sharing it here. in nonfiction because it gets deep. It's raw. I put in I put in there, it may have triggers for you. So read at caution because I don't leave anything out. I
Well,
want
your
other people to
submission,
be able to see.
your submission, Blue Butterfly,
Yes, ma'am.
Exploitations of Innocence, is exactly what what the judges said was how for all the pieces that they read, they were very deep, they were very personal. There was a lot of pain that people showcased and explored within the writing. And one of the conversations that I had with the judges of the Chapter One writing competition and their beta readers and professional editors was, why is it that at this period in our history are so many writers of color talking about these very hard issues around things like, molestation and rape and drugs and, what do you think? Why was this the moment? I guess that is the question that you felt like the world needed to know about this story.
The number one thing for me is I want to break the generational patterns. The common saying in African American households is what's done in this house stays in this house. I didn't agree with that, and I'm breaking that cycle. If Uncle so and so, you shouldn't be around, the saying was stay away from Uncle so and so. Well, Uncle so and so shouldn't be in my view if that is the case. I'm making it so people can have courage to speak out, to break those patterns, and to heal. Because if we keep it in, we can't heal.
Excellent. Thank you so much
So
and
that's why I do it.
congratulations. Congratulations on placing in
Thank
the
you.
Chapter One writing competition. We're so excited to have you. As I tell everyone, I don't judge. I just oversee the judging and make sure it gets done. But I'm not reading everybody's submission, and I think it's only fair that I kind of stay out of it, so that I can
Yes.
communicate with you and dialogue with you and feel that I didn't do anything that wasn't unfair and knowing or getting to know you in this process. So congratulations on wooing the judges and getting them to understand where you're coming from and to feel the emotions that you wanted them to feel. So congratulations on that. Miss Jenny G,
Thank you.
how to me, you're where are you located?
Sorry. I'm in
Mhm.
Jamaica. I was born and bred in Jamaica, and I currently live in Jamaica. But I do travel a lot, and traveling is one of my passions.
Excellent. Her story, her voice, poetry is what you won. You placed in the poetry category 7 poems about her story. You're talking
Right.
about women
Yes.
and the experience of being a woman. Talk to us about what it is you wanted those reading the work to learn and what inspired the work.
Okay, like the previous author, there are so many things that are happening now, especially in the world of women, that we are very silent about. And so I find that from a historical perspective, women don't have a voice. They do have a voice, but it is limited. And so they are silenced in a number of ways. And so when I say her story, her voice, I'm giving a voice to women through the various poems that I wrote. The poems I wrote are like the life of a butterfly, starting from the beginning stage through the various stages of a woman's life. I just picked seven, but I have a collection of 12 of those poems concerning women. So I want our readers and our listeners to understand that women do face a number of issues, and at times we have to be silent, and we are silent about those issues because of the stigma that is attached to our voice, our poems, our word, our situation, and sometimes we are deeply undervalued.
Excellent, excellent. You want to read one of your excerpts at some point? Are you comfortable with that?
I am very comfortable with it.
Okay,
So
well, we'll get to it in a minute, but I definitely would love to hear one of your poems, and so the world can kind of get a feel for why you play so high in this competition. Poetry is a new category that we just added 2 years ago, and I am so happy with what I see when it comes to the poetry that comes through. There are some dynamic poets out there, spoken word artists, and we want to continue to just celebrate you. So congratulations on winning in the poetry competition, and I look forward to hearing your excerpt after we get an opportunity to meet Mr. Jason. Or pronounce it for me. Is it Jahsun or is it Jason?
Jahsun,
Jahsun. I like that.
Jahsun, both.
I like
Yeah.
that. And you're on a cruise boat, so talk to us. Talk to us about your submission and what inspired you.
Oh my goodness. First of all, I just want to, pay homage to Valerie and Jennifer because somewhat similar to them. Well, I too am a poet, but I'm speaking to pain. I'm speaking power to truth. I'm speaking, redemption. I'm speaking
Jason, it's kind of hard to hear
so
you. You're breaking up.
you can make it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Is it better now?
It's a little bit better now. We may have to pick you up a little another time if we can, if we need to, but because I want to be able to hear everything that you have to say. But I want to just tell everybody about you. You live in Connecticut. You are a poet, a playwright, and a teaching artist. You've done some amazing things. It says since poetry found him. So you didn't find poetry. Poetry found you in 1999. I love that. You use the art form to uplift, educate, and inspire. You're a longtime member of the Blackout Arts Collective. You toured nationally with lyrics on lockdown and led poetry workshops in prisons across the country. I applaud that. That is so amazing. You're the co-creator of What It Is, a hip hop spoken word prison abolitionist remix of The Wiz. I just went to see The Wiz with my son a couple of weeks ago here in New Orleans. So I'm loving that all day long. You got to send me a link to it if you still have access. I would love to see that. You've done some amazing things, and I love to see our brothers win these competitions. So I'm really proud
Yes.
to know that you're there and you're writing in the nonfiction category. Your work, Shades of Survival, A Poetic Life. Try again to tell us a little bit about that. Let's see if we can pick you up a little bit better.
So it's my story, basically surviving violent acts of racism, homelessness at age 13, the prison industrial complex, drug addiction, and coming to find poetry and writing as, and God as a muse, right? And to be able to channel all this. The story is kind of like the autobiography of Malcolm X meets Khalil Gibran's The Prophet.
Love it. It sounds to me like poetry has become a healing um, a platform for you. You're healing yourself. You're going into prisons. You're talking to other brothers who are struggling. Tell me very quickly about that moment, where you were, and what was happening in your life when you realized that poetry could be something that can help you to grow as a person and beyond the situation you were in.
What a wonderful question. First of all, poetry gave me my first true voice. Growing up in a household, I had no voice. So literally, when I got to like poetry venues and found that people would listen to me for like 5 minutes, I was empowered, right? So I think that was the first moment where I was like, oh my God, whatever I have to say, they're going to listen to. From there, I found out I had a talent and a gift and a way with words. And it blossomed faster than I could think. And I wound
Mm.
up into the Blackout Arts Collective within my first year of doing poetry. And they were like, a bunch of artists, activists that were, speaking against the prison industrial complex. I had been formerly incarcerated. I'm like, this is a match made in heaven. Let's go.
Excellent, excellent. For those out there, if you have any questions for this group of writers, my goodness, you've got a poet, you've got nonfiction writers, you've got people who are talking about real issues, and that's what we want to see. That's why we do the chapter one writing competition. It is so important to us to give voice to our writers and to encourage them to continue to write. So I've got Esther is on here now, and she's gonna tell us about her work. But I want to get everyone out there, drop some questions, talk to them. If you're a writer and you're trying to figure out how to break into this world of writing, now everyone on the screen isn't published yet. So a lot of them are just where you are if you haven't published, but you're thinking about publishing. So sometimes the first step is getting the courage to just write. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the first thing. You just got to get the courage to just write. So if you have any questions, please, please let us know about them. And Jason, thank you so much. I so appreciate you being on a cruise and calling in and wanting to do this. I know you are having a ball. I was on a cruise a couple of months ago, and trust me, it is so much fun. But I appreciate you doing this. So stay with us if you can. If you can't, I understand, but we definitely are just grateful to have you. So Esther, now Esther is someone who actually won in this competition in the past. She placed before. And so really excited to have her back. As you can see, every year you can come back with a new submission and we just welcome that. But it's so good to finally, I've never met you before, Esther. I'm just happy to have you here. So tell us a little bit about your work and what inspired you.
Hi. So, of course, my name is Esther Okossi. Hello, everybody. The work I submitted, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. The piece I submitted is called Layla. It is inspired, similar to like my last piece by a former student. Um, Long story short, I was at a job that I really hated and I couldn't stay too long. So I ended up having to resign mid-year. And I had a particular student who I had been close to, who I just adored. But I felt bad leaving her behind. So this was kind of my way of being able to reconcile that and just, to the daughter I left behind, like as the story started.
Mm-hmm. So you wrote a long poem. A woman reflects on the end of her childhood and the beginning of her daughter's. Layla, I love that name. It's beautiful. You're from Jersey. You won third place in the 2024 Chapter One Writing Competition with a short story called Mama. And so, talk to us a little bit about why come back. I mean, why submit again? Did you enjoy this? I'm looking for a shameless plug here, but did you enjoy the experience?
I guess no, I enjoyed expressing myself. Mama was about a different group of kids who I had written about. But yeah, it was just one of those stories that I just felt strongly about. Mm-hmm. With Mama, we followed a lady who was dealing with mental health issues and had her two kids, and there was like a looming idea of a possible custody battle. With Layla, it's just a young lady who, she had a daughter too early and she was ready to, she had to leave. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I guess writing was just a way for me to kind of just be expressive and to just just be raw and authentic. That's the best way I can describe it.
What's so beautiful about writing is how therapeutic it is. How many of us are using it to change our own lives, to change our communities. We're using it the way I feel like books are supposed to be used. I was just talking to the first place winner of the nonfiction category, and I was saying that Every stage of my life, there was a nonfiction book that helped me to get through the hard time. Whether it was a T.D. Jakes book, a Joyce Meyer's book, a Stormy or Martin book, a Young Van Zant book, there was always there was always words that helped me to overcome something hard in my life. And even to this day, if there is something going on with me, I'm going to go seek out a book and I'm going to fall in love with those words and learn from them. And so that's why this writing thing is so important to me. I love books, I love words, and I want to see more of us write. And so the writing competition, although everyone isn't published yet, because that is something I'm hoping everybody is looking to get published at some point. But we need to keep writing and controlling the narrative and telling the story our way. No one can talk about what it's like to be an African American woman or or a woman of African descent more than a woman of African descent, right? No one can tell me about the experience of being incarcerated than someone who's been incarcerated. I want to know authentic stories. I want to really support and celebrate those. And so that's what the chapter 1 writing competition is all about. And all of you placed did exceptionally well. You've received awards, and now you're in the community of the chapter 1 writing competition as our winners. Your picture's going to go up on our website. We're going to be talking about you and tapping to you, but we do also hope that you continue to be, if you haven't already joined, become a part of the Black Writers Workspace. And so that is a big part of it. So we do have a question here for everyone. So we're going to get everyone to just kind of chime in. It says, for everyone who would like to answer, what are some of the ways you're promoting yourself? So and for those who don't have a book, this question is also good for, where are you writing? Are you writing on medium.com? Are you writing on what other platforms? How can we find out? How can we read your work? And if you're not on anything, are you looking to add your work to any of these platforms? So let's start with you, Jenny G. Talk to us about how can we see your work? I'm sorry, I got you muted. There you go.
Yeah, my book was published during the same month I entered the competition. My poems, they are in a book called Crafting Poetic Stories. And that book is now on Amazon. So that's one of the ways. And then it is proliferated on a number of websites. Locally here in Jamaica, I have been talking to different persons. I take my book everywhere I go. Actually, I have 3 books, and I take them everywhere I go. I keep them in my car. I talk to people about them. I did an interview on a local radio station concerning some of these poems, and that is Roots 96.1 FM. And so I use every opportunity. If I go to schools, while this is an adult book, it has poems in it for children, for women, for conversations with God and other areas. And so I take my book everywhere I go. I talk to people about my books all the time, and I seek different ways and means and avenues of promoting not just the book containing these poems, but the other 2 books that I have written.
Excellent. Definitely put your books on directtoauthor.com. It is our platform where we celebrate and market books for our authors. So congratulations. 3 books is so amazing. Congratulations on everything that you're doing. That is excellent.
Thank you
That
so
is
much.
excellent.
Thank you.
Valerie,
Thank you.
how can we read your work?
I am shy when it comes to social media. I'm getting better. I actually have a YouTube channel, in herself expressions, and I have some of my poetry up there. Now, since I am getting more confidence with my nonfiction or with my creative nonfiction, I will also be adding some of that to it as well. And again, as the first place winner said, there was someone who shared with us the site. I'm going to check into using that site as well to put some things up. So it's a learning curve for me. I'm of the older generation. I'm 60, so it takes a bit to get used to. You have to do social media. I'm working on that. I promise. I hope I get better.
Well, we would love for you to add your information as well to direct to author, but also for anyone on the screen, if you want your submissions to be made
Absolutely.
available to the public, we can definitely put them
Yes.
on our website so that people can read your submissions. So, congratulations on that. And you are not
I would love
older.
that.
You just,
Thank you.
I'm 51, so I get it. I do a lot of social media because I own a
Yes.
PR firm, but I tell you, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be on here as much. But social media is a great place to help promote your work. So this is a great question that we're getting because as independent authors, and some of you may not be independent authors, but regardless, you have to promote your work. It is important that you do that. And social media is one platform, email marketing, and a number of different ways to do it. But continue to definitely push your work out there. So Esther, how can we read your work?
Yeah, I currently don't have anything published. I am trying to, I guess I'm still trying to figure that out, to be honest. I don't think I necessarily have a way, but I guess I'm figuring it out. Right now, I'm just kind of writing and submitting to competitions. And so any competition that publishes it, that will be the way it will be seen. But I'm still kind of figuring it out. I guess I'm just trying to get past, uh, like, I don't know, my own nervousness with some of my pieces and letting my heart be on my sleeve and show, to the world and stuff. So, yeah, I don't really, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm answering this question the best way, but that's what I
No,
have
you are
right
answering the question the honest way, which is what the question is for. But I will say this because I definitely I'm looking at you. You remind me of my niece. I'm having one of those moments, and I am. You've won this competition 2 years in a row. You are a really great writer, so do
now.
not hesitate to put your work out there. Do not hesitate. Um, I understand a lot of us as writers, we're introverts. If you would have told me 6 years ago I would be on a podcast, I would be like, no, that ain't happening. That's not even in my world. So we have to get outside of ourselves, but you have won this competition. I'm going to keep saying this, two different categories in 2 years. So you have something that people want to read and put it out there in the world. The competitions are great because they really do validate the work, but you want as many eyes as possible on your work. So I'm going to challenge you to put a book out there, and I'm going to hopefully next year this time I'm going to be seeing this book out, and because you have something to say and you're really speaking in a
Okay.
very a similar genre, from mama to the story about the young woman. These are key things, and so I want to see you definitely put something out there. So do that for me, okay?
Yes,
Okay, that's
thank
awesome.
you.
Awesome. Jason, how can we read your work?
Mike is muted.
There you go.
Can
I
you hear
got you.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Mhm.
Okay. Just big shout out to the chapter one writing competition. I've never won a writing competition before. And like this is a huge step in my pathway to being published. I consider that. I just gotta say, like, to all of us, like, if we sit on our gifts, we will lose them. And
Yes.
God wants us to put this out there. That's why we are here now. So with that being said, I've had a million reasons not to be on social media, not to do this, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm on go mode. I just built my website, jahsunpoet.com. JAHSUN poet.com. Um, and I'm starting my newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter. It's going to be a collaborative of writers called The Organic Truth. You could go on there and click the subscribe button. But also, I've just submitted and been accepted. My contribution in the spirit of Afrofuturism and the Black radical imagination is coming out on an internationally published book called Arts and Abolition. Okay, and that's going to be out like next year, so look for that book. But really look for my memoir coming, Shades of Survival. I'm Jason Dorsey on Facebook. I post little things here, but check my website. I got everything up there, videos of my performances. I got everything up there. And please lock in, click in, subscribe to my newsletter, The Organic Truth. As a writer, that's going to help me build up an email list. An email list is a very powerful tool, right? And I'm not just showcasing my work in that newsletter. I want to showcase all of our work. So you can find my email there, like, let's do this. And I'm going to go on author.com. I'm going to improve everything. I want to again big up the Chapter 1 writing competition. It did so much for me. This is my first writing award, but it ain't my last.
Absolutely. I love your energy. I swear. I love that. Thank you so much for everything that all of you that you're doing. That's what we're trying to do, is to give you a little bit of that jump start. Go out there and publish your work and showcase what you're doing. And Jason, your strategy on marketing is key. It is key. Go out there, build your websites, post your spoken word, your videos. Go live if you can. I know it's a lot, and we all have limitations on what we're comfortable with. So don't worry, Esther. I got most of the people I work with tell me the same thing. I don't do social media. That's not my thing. So just keep working at it though, because in this environment though, you have to get outside your box. And so it is important that you do that. So Jason, thank you for everything that you said. I'm loving it. I'm going to definitely go out there and subscribe to your newsletter, and be sure to send that out to everybody who's in the email traffic. Send that to everyone. So everyone, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Congratulations again on winning the Chapter 1 writing competition. I hope that everyone received your awards. I hope that you will continue to be a part of the Black Writers Workspace and to upload your books to direct2author.com. We have a lot going on, including our book fair here in New Orleans on June 20th, the week of Juneteenth. We're going to be here in New Orleans. This is our 4th year. It's at the City Parks Pavilion of the Two Sisters. We had it in May. We had 75 authors. Last year we had 95. So, economy's got people. But next year we're going to have over 100 authors. So we're going to be pushing for that. We do encourage everyone to come out. It is an amazing event. It's music, it's speakers. We do an event the night before. We also have a Black Film Festival premiere that takes place at the same time in the same location. So it's a big event. It's all part of the Black Writers Workspace. And we do invite you all to be a part of it. So again, congratulations, Valerie and Jason and Esther and Jenny G. And if you can, just, very quickly, well, we're going to have Jenny G. She's going to give us an excerpt, and then we're going to spend a little time, give everybody an opportunity to give some words of encouragement to the writers out there. But Jenny, I didn't forget you. See, you thought I forgot you, but I didn't forget you. I want you to do one of your poems for us, and we're going to take everybody off the screen so she can have the screen to herself. And then we're going to come back and give some farewell messages and some words of encouragement to our writers. So thank you so much for everything you do.
Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted to say, though, I have a website, and it is Jennifer.Williams. Sorry, it is www.selectarrow/Jennifer Williams. So I have a website, and I was also on a virtual book tour as well. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to read this poem, and it's the first one in this part of my book, Her Story, Her Voice. And the title is Every Woman Counts. And here it goes. Every woman counts, irrespective of her age, creed, or religion. She is important, no matter her nationality or level of education. Her voice should count at home as a wife, mother, or caregiver, and in the boardroom where she is a powerhouse and achiever. She's a leader and decision maker in things both small and great. Let her voice count in all the untold and hidden stories about her fate. Sometimes her voice cannot be heard above the shrill and the din that tries to silence her from expressing her thoughts from within. She cannot be silenced because she has pushed to come thus far. She has a heart of gold. Her life cannot be marred or scarred. She is resilient and a game changer with a soul filled with courage. In her own way, she's a mover, a shaker who wants to create the best image. She cannot be silenced because she has to pave the way for other women who are voiceless, oppressed, and need a new day. To those who are smitten, discarded, and need to be encouraged, she is a trailblazer for the voiceless, downtrodden, and oppressed. She has a unique voice that shows that for others she cares. She wants to be counted, not undervalued as she fears. So let's celebrate every woman and show them they are surmounted. Show them how precious they are. Let them all be counted.
Excellent, 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 excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. It's such an encouragement, and we need that in this day and age. So, thank you so much, Jennifer. That is excellent. Thank you all. Let's just take about 15 seconds and let's give a few words of encouragement. Let's start with you, Jason. This is to our writers out there. Let's get them encouraged and get them to writing. Did he freeze on me? Jason, you want to give a couple of words of encouragement? Okay, I think he can't hear me. Esther?
What I can just say is, yeah, just keep on writing. I am very grateful to the Chapter 1 writing competition that I have won in another category the second year in a row. But I always say that, before last year's win, I never won anything before. So, I think, you just keep on writing because eventually someone's going to see your story, and just keep on being authentic. Just write authentically. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can just be raw, and that will make it beautiful.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being with us. Valerie?
Yes, I would like to say for everyone and for myself as well, continue to step out of your comfort zone, write in your true, authentic voice, and let Spirit guide you because know that you are worthy no matter what has happened in your life. You are worthy.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being with us and congratulations again. Jason, can
I
you hear
like to
us now?
thank you.
Oh, thank you. I don't.
Yes.
You want to give the
Yes.
writers a
Can
few
you hear
words of
me?
encouragement? Yes. Mm-hmm. A few words of encouragement.
Yes. Listen, I just love you all because we're connected. Understand that we are the carriers of tradition. We are the tellers of truths. We are the ancient griots. We have carried history thus far, and they want to drown our narrative out. So it's our job. It's our duty. It's our God given voice to keep writing.
Excellent. Love it. Thank you so much for being with us and congratulations again. Thank you. Jenny G, you want to share a couple of words of encouragement with us?
Yes, I am so excited to be a part of this. It's like I almost jumped out of my shoes, my socks, my clothes, everything. But my parting words are each of us has a story. Tell that story in whatever form, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, whether it's through poetry, drama, whatever. Let our voice be heard because there are other persons who are struggling with their stories. And when they hear our stories, they will be motivated, inspired, and our stories can educate others. There are young people also who want to know that there are persons who have gone ahead of them and have a story. I'm 72 now. I published first when I was 70, right? 71 rather. And so no matter what your age is, you still have a voice, you still have a story. Do not be afraid to tell your story because others are waiting for your story. And my story also can be found on my website at www.selectarrow.net/Jennifer-Williams, and other social media like my Instagram, my Facebook, and the other social media platforms. So tell your story. And there are young people who have come to me after I've written and they have heard my story and they want to know. Even a deaf community. A young lady said to me recently, I went to a school and she said, tell us, how can I get to write? And so I am putting together a team to help these people so that their voices can be heard and their stories can be told. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, so amazing. Thank you so much for that. Let's just inspire. Thank you for all of you for inspiring people to just continue to write. That is important. Congratulations on winning the Chapter 1 writing competition. We hope to continue to work with you on the Black Writers Workspace. We hope to see you here in New Orleans next year. If you would like to come out with your books, let me know. It'll be wonderful. But right now, I just want to tell you, seeing your faces on the screen make my day. This is what it's all about. It is about encouraging our writers to just continue to write. So, congratulations again. Farewell. Have a great weekend. And everybody out there, join us. We will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, where we have 2 more sessions with writers so that you can get to meet our first and second and third place writers in the poetry, nonfiction, and fiction categories of the Chapter 1 writing competition. So, again, thank you all for being with us. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.